If someone wants to marry his dog, why shouldn't he be able to? What if someone wants to marry their brother or parent? What if someone wants to marry their blow-up doll or have 10 wives? Unless we develop some firm definition of what a marriage is, the options are endless. So, should these marriages be allowed? What about these marriages? How many of you would feel comfortable going to a restaurant and then seeing two guys making out in the booth next to you? Or how many of you would feel comfortable going to a movie theater and having two girls sitting in front of you with their arms around each other? To many, this may be offensive, unsettling, and awkward. But we may be seeing more of this now that Iowa has passed the gay marriage bill. In this speech, I will answer some questions you may have about gay marriage. Questions such as, can you prevent being gay? Should gay couples be allowed to have children? And also the Bible's view on homosexuality. Marriage is the state of being united to a person of the opposite sex as husband or wife in a consensual and contractual relationship recognized by the law. People should not have their tax dollars used to support something that they find wrong. Gay marriage would entitle gay couples to typical marriage benefits, including claiming a tax exemption for a spouse, receiving Social Security payments from a deceased spouse, and coverage by a spouse's health insurance policy. In 2009, the Congressional Budget Office estimated that the cost to the federal government of extending employee benefits to same-sex domestic partners would be $596 million in mandatory spending and $302 million in discretionary spending between 2010 and 2019. In 1993, 66.3% of the American population believed that sexual relations between two consenting adults of the same sex were always wrong. In 1965, 82% of men and 58% of women said that the homosexuality represents a clear threat to the American way of life. But can you prevent being gay? The simple answer is yes. But no one wants to point fingers at people, and most people just don't feel comfortable just asking, so what is the cause of homosexuality? Well, like many other adult problems, homosexuality begins at home. The mom and dad of the person have a huge role in this. Research from the National Association for Research and Therapy of Homosexuality states that 100% of the research participants stated that their father or father figure was distant, uninvolved in their upbringing, frightening, and unapproachable. 87% spoke of a mother who was close, controlling, and overbearing. Although this statement seems to be the main concern with homosexuality, there are other concerns too, such as the individual person's self-will, pornography, media and culture, spousal abuse in the home, molestation, parental adultery, and seduction by peers. Boys who grow up in father-absent homes are more likely than those in father-present homes to have trouble establishing appropriate sex roles and gender identity. Now I want you all to take a moment and think about your father or father figure in your life. Where would you be today without him? How does he affect the littlest things you do? When we take this into real-life perspectives, we realize how much we actually do need a father in our lives. Other than the fact of homosexuality, fathers still play a huge role in their child's life. For example, children are 24.3 times more likely to run away and 10.8 times more likely to commit rape if they don't have a father figure in their lives. Not having a fatherly figure in a child's life will affect them for the rest of their life. For example, daughters that grow up without a father are 92% more likely to divorce, 73% of adolescent murders, 63% of youth suicides, 71% of high school dropouts, and 70% of juvenile and state-operated institutions come from fatherless homes. The likelihood that a male will engage in criminal activity doubles if he is raised without a father, and triples if he lives in a neighborhood with a high concentration of single-parent families. Gay marriage will lead to more children being raised in same-sex households, which is an optimum environment for raising children because children need both a mother and a father. Girls who are raised apart from their fathers are reportedly at a higher risk for early sexual activity and teenage pregnancy. Girls without a mother are deprived of the emotional security and unique advice that mothers provide. In April of 2001, a study published in American Sociological Review suggested that children with lesbian or gay parents are more likely to engage in homosexual behavior. In the 1997 book, Growing Up in a Lesbian Family, Effects on Child's Development, it observed that 25% of sampled young adults raised by lesbian mothers had engaged in homosexuality, compared to 0% of sampled young adults raised by heterosexual mothers. Do you think a gay couple should be allowed to adopt children? An estimated 6 million to 14 million children have a lesbian or gay parent. Courts in 11 states have ruled that gay men and lesbians, on the basis of their sexual orientation, are unfit to receive custody of their children. Same-sex marriage ignores a child's best interests. Marriage should not be extended to same-sex couples because homosexual relationships have nothing to do with procreation. Allowing gay marriage would only further shift the purpose of marriage from producing and raising children to adult gratification. One study reports that the average homosexual has between 20 and 106 partners per year. The average heterosexual has 8 partners in a lifetime. Many homosexual sexual encounters occur while drunk, high on drugs, or in an orgy setting. Homosexuals account for 3 to 4% of all gonorrhea cases, 60% of all syphilis cases, and 17% of all hospital admissions other than for STDs in the United States. They make up only 1 to 2% of the population. 73% of psychiatrists say homosexuals are less happy than the average person, and of those psychiatrists, 70% say that the unhappiness is not due to social stigmatization. 78% of homosexuals are affected by STDs. 41% of homosexuals say that they have had sex with strangers in public restrooms. 60% said that they have had sex with strangers in bathhouses, and 64% of these encounters have involved the use of illegal drugs. With Iowa passing the gay marriage bill, Iowa is saying that these kind of behaviors are okay. Whether we believe in gay marriages or not, I think that we can all agree that STDs can be and should be prevented. Yet with more and more states passing the gay marriage bill, they're saying being gay and the health risks that go along with it are okay. So what does God say about homosexuality? Leviticus 18:22 states, "Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination." This clearly shows that God did not create man to be with man and woman to be with woman. The Bible tells us that being gay is wrong. Homosexuality is a sin in God's eyes in both the Old and New Testaments. That means not one single person ever was or ever will be born homosexual. God is a God of love and fairness and would not call something a sin if there was absolutely no way for the person to stop committing that sin. Homosexuality is not natural. Just look at the male and female bodies. They are obviously designed to couple. The natural design is apparent. Homosexuals argue that homosexuality is natural since it occurs in the animal world. It is true that this behavior occurs in the animal kingdom, but it's also true that we see animals eating their prey alive and even their own young. We are not animals. We are made in God's image. To summarize what we have covered, we learned that homosexuality starts at home and it is not a genetic disorder. Children of homosexual parents are more likely to be molested and sexually confused. Same-sex marriage ignores a child's best interests. Man and woman were made to couple. Homosexuality is just unnatural. Let me leave you with one final verse, Leviticus 20:13. "If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, Both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And who are we to argue with God?